Well, Dan, here we are, back again. Standing the test of time. I think we're soon going to be called the longest episodic wrestling botched podcast ever, as we're going to steal that from WWE and then probably get a cease and desist with that title. But,
Probably.
yeah, and none of us can afford that. There was a lot going on over the last week, would you say? It's been a week, right? Over a week since we podcasted last. Obviously,
Yes.
back on Tuesday, so we could watch Raw from the night before. But we had Raw, SmackDown, NXT, of course, and then NXT Battleground, Saturday night main event, and then back to Raw. Like, real quick, does WWE own the week now when it comes to broadcasting? Like, are they at the point where we were afraid AEW was going to get to with all their shows?
I mean, mostly. We're almost there for sure. I mean, especially on a week like this when you have Raw, NXT, SmackDown, Saturday night main event,
and NXT Battleground,
NXT Battleground,
and then,
Raw,
yeah, and then NXT now,
right? Like, and then NXT. So in 8 days, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 shows basically, right? I mean, like 6 shows in 8 days, right?
Yeah, because they only take
6 shows in 8 days. I mean, the only thing you didn't have was Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, because if you're not counting Evolution, they take Wednesday, Thursdays off. If you count Evolution, they take Thursdays off.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna not count it. I'm only gonna Wait, Evolution's still only on YouTube, right, or social media?
Tubi,
or is it on TV now? On Tubi.
Tubi for free. Yeah. So, but just in general, like what they're
I'm
putting
gonna
out.
only count things on like
big broadcasts. Yep.
Main screen. Yeah, like either cable or a major streaming service like Netflix, obviously. But yeah, you're right. If you counted that too, but even not counting that, 6 out of 8 days. There's a lot of wrestling when it's all WWE, and then if you start to kick in.
Well, and then if you watch AEW, which I'm trying to catch up on, that's Wednesday nights.
Right. Right. So then you have Wednesdays, and then TNA is still Thursdays, right?
Yeah. So you could legitimately go through the week and have a wrestling show.
You could go 8 days in a row and have some sort of major or at least semi-major TV show with wrestling, and it's only in theory 3 companies.
Yeah, because if you watch any of the indie stuff like GCW, that's
I mean
for Friday, Saturday,
you throw all that in.
So you're
you throw all that in and forget about it.
Or I believe OVW is still on YouTube for free when they do a show. So that's a whole other different, because I think they're on Thursdays too. They normally do. So it's wild. The golden age of wrestling. With all these streaming services, I don't think anyone believed that sports entertainment wrestling would have every night of the week. Would you believe that? Like, this is crazy. Like, not the NFL, not the NBA, not the NHL. Sports entertainment wrestling.
Yeah, yeah.
Wild.
I don't think people would have predicted that for
Wild.
sure.
But yeah, crazy times with wrestling going on. Even crazier times. Trick Williams takes the TNA title. We talked about this
Yeah.
before about Moose possibly doubling up on titles with the NXT title and taking the TNA title. Holy hell, what happened, Dan? Like, how long you think he has it for? And he defeated the chosen one over there, Joe Hendry. Like,
Um, I would assume he probably has it for like a month or so. My
and then
guess
Joe wins
is
it
I could be
back.
wrong, but either Joe wins it back or if they've got another guy they want to take it.
But that's the thing. I don't think they have. I don't think they really have anybody but Joe over there that like he can pass the torch to. And if he was to pass the torch, right? Like, wouldn't Joe get beat by the guy rather than Trick coming in and taking the title? And if you go to TNAWrestling.com, Trick Williams is the first banner all over that.
Yep.
And then
So
yeah, it's
I was just
crazy.
going there too. Like, when's their next big show, right? Like,
Uh, so June 6th, they
I
have
can't.
Against All Odds in Tempe, Arizona. They have, I mean, here's the thing, right? They got Joe, they got the Tardy Boys, they got Nick Nemeth, they got
My
Elias,
guess
they
would
got
be
Moose. Like, what do you? I don't know.
my guess would be is maybe Trick keeps it until Slammiversary, which is July 20th, but it's at the UBS Arena in Long Island, so that's like a pretty decent size for them. I
Yeah.
think that's where the Islanders play. So my guess is he's going to keep it till then. I could be wrong, but you know, it's just that's I think Slammiversary is like their WrestleMania, right? Like
Yeah, it's their big
I haven't
show.
kept up
It's
as much on like the right what they consider their tentpole, but I assume that that's at least one of them, if not the one. So maybe there drops it in Long Island to I don't know who.
what if
Maybe they give it back to Hendry. I don't know. They kind of owe him one in a way.
what
You
if
know.
Joe comes
So
in beats Oba,
that would be really
and
funny.
then they kind
That
of
would be
just go
interesting.
on a run at each other's company for a while, right? You constantly see Joe in
Yeah.
NXT, and then you constantly see Trick at TNA. Almost like they traded, like it was a free agent trade, right?
Yeah. It's possible. You could see
Crazy.
something like that.
It's crazy, man. It's nuts at times. Like, uh, I mean, back during Vince, this would have never happened, correct? Like,
No.
this would have never happened. Like, this would be almost sacrilegious at this point for them to do that. Um, Another standout thing from Battlegrounds, there's just so much to go through, so I'll just talk the highlights. I don't know if you saw the Sol Bruca against Kalani Jordan.
Saw some of the highlights. I didn't see the full match, but I obviously saw several of the highlights that were being passed around social media pretty heavily with all the shit that they did,
With her
stuff that they did.
super poison Rana from the top rope. Where do you
Yeah,
think she
that
ranks athlete wise throughout the company? Because I got a very bold statement right now.
Um, I don't know for sure. I mean, she's got to be up there, but I don't know if I could put a ranking on her. There's just so many, and like you talk athlete wise, and like you just added Penta and Ray Phoenix to your roster.
I'm
You know,
talking top
like
four, and I can name it because I thought about it
okay,
today.
all right, let me hear.
Phoenix, Phoenix, Hayes, Penta, and then her. I don't think we've seen anybody do crazier stuff in the ring than what she's done consistently with that finisher. You like based on the career that we've seen from Penta and Phoenix, you have to put them within the top three. We've seen Hayes do some crazy things. Hayes just seems to do things a little bit faster than Penta to me, so that's why I put Hayes above him. But to be honest, you could say 2A and 2B, and I think that would be all right. But I think she's top four in the company. Intergender, whatever you want to call it, I honestly think she's top four. The way she pulls that out, like how people just wake up and tie their shoes in the morning. It's filthy how smooth she is with that move. It is
Yeah,
absolutely filthy. You never see her screw up with that move. Never.
right.
And for her to do it from the top rope now, can you imagine the training sessions that she was having at the academy? To just be like, you know what, guys, I'm going to try this. Let's see if I can pull it off. Like, that's insane. That's insane. Um, yeah, I mean, that was insane. And then Jordan Grace and Stephanie Facquer, that was an A again. Like, that's just insane. Um, I mean, but I kind of think when you saw those two on the card, you kind of knew that was going to be crazy between them, right? Because they both can go. Jordan with the power, Stephanie with everything she's been able to do in her career. And side note, here's a Mike Santana showing at NXT. Let's go, man.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. That was insane. And then we got a small preview between Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. And spoiler, if you're just catching up to NXT, that started the NXT show tonight, and Ethan Page took the title. So, I mean, oh, and we had, I apologize for this. And we had Oba versus Miles Bourne as well. So, I mean, and then, and obviously Joe and Trick as we discussed, but it's, I mean, what a hell of a show. Like, another standout show.
Yeah.
With how good NXT is, did you see the rumor that WWE is talking about adding another program? Like another show?
I don't know where, like when and where, like where is all this going?
Well, so it started off being Evolve, right? But that's on Tubi, and I think so. From what I've been reading, with how popular, like I guess Evolve has been more popular than I thought, and then the WWE LFG like really caught them by surprise. So it's like
Yeah.
them like I don't know. It's crazy.
I mean,
Like
if they're gonna do a show like LFG, like fine. I thought you meant like another like
well, see that's the thing.
Raw,
It's
SmackDown, NXT.
yeah, it's just out there right now, right? Like it's been confirmed that like WWE has been talking about this behind like backstage, but like that's the only thing that's
Yeah.
been said. Like the concept of the show has not been leaked, I
Right.
guess. If they leak another hour, 2 hour show to bunch of WWE throughout the week, does it get stale?
I mean, I don't know if it gets stale, but I do think. I mean, it depends on stale. Will depend on what they're doing,
Yeah.
because if it's good story and compelling, I don't care if it's every night. I may not watch it live every time, but I'll certainly find replay. Right. Like,
Yeah. Clip it.
um,
Yeah.
but but generally speaking, yes, I think it's too much. Like I already think they're borderline on too much, but especially now with the partnership with TNA, the way they're doing it, where they're showing up on each other's shows a lot, so like you're semi compelled to watch both, or to watch TNA too half the time. I don't necessarily, but a lot of people would be. Um,
Yeah,
But I think it depends too, right? Like for me personally, the problem is like there are only so many hours in a day. So, but I may be in the minority of that because I have different ways I want to spend those hours, and wrestling is some of them, but not all of them outside of, let's say, work, right? So
right.
even if I'm just looking at an 8 hour day, and let's say 8 hours of sleep to keep a nice round number, what am I doing with the rest of that 8 hours? You know,
Right. I feel right.
and wrestling should be some of that, but
Yeah.
I don't want it to be 4 or 5 of that 8 every day. You
Right.
know,
And I feel like you and I kind of do the same thing. Like if it's not main roster big story stuff, majority of the time it ends up in the background for us. And that's kind of how we like
right?
follow along, right? Like we do watch Raw every week and we do turn into SmackDown when we can. But like if we see what's going to be on there and it's kind of not what we expected, right? Like or if it's just kind of we're doing something else at the time, like yeah, we'll have it on one screen and we'll be doing something on the other screen, right? Like that type of thing. Um, yeah, it's crazy if they add something. I and that's the thing too. Like I'm wondering, like when we see like oh WWE signed these 3 stars, are they signing more people than what gets put out to the public? And how big truly is that roster that they have at the NXT like academy, right? Like how like who do they have there that they're like, yeah, we got 30 guys over or 30 people over here. Let's just throw a show together, right? Like
Yeah,
it's wild, man. Um, but what part of or did you catch any of NXT Battleground? I forgot to ask you.
just Trick and Joe.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, it was a good card. NXT did what they were supposed to. Came out, put on solid matches. There was only one, the Tank or the Tank and Briggs versus Spears, Vance and Jensen. It like if you're into that, you know, 3-way tag match or big dudes like, you know, bouncing off each other. I like it's cool. They did what they were supposed to, right? But it with how stellar the card is and how big the card felt to me, would it be in
Right.
and it probably felt that way, one, because it's like a holiday weekend, two, Battleground's a big thing for them, right? Or it's always been a big thing for them. It kind of felt like that card or that 3-on-3 should have been tonight, right? Like just started the show tonight and then gone into Ricky Saints and Ethan Page, I guess. But overall, I give it like an A- show. I think it was good. I always try and tune in for NXT because you know I'm a sucker for NXT. But yeah, where did you want to go next? And did you want to go to Saturday night main event?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Why not?
all right, let me. So many shows and so many tabs open, man.
I
Um,
know.
first off, Saturday night main event, July 12th. Evolution, July 13th. Back to back days shows.
Yeah.
Um, second ever Evolution will take place Sunday, July 13th at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. The premium live event will air on Peacock/Netflix. That's crazy. So Netflix for people out of the country, I'm guessing, or for out of the U.S. Not for us, correct?
Yeah.
If I'm understanding. All right.
Correct.
Because right there,
Yep.
I got really excited. But um, trivia question, Dan. Do you know what the first ever Evolution was headlined by, or what it's famous for?
Wasn't it the first all women's pay per view?
Correct. And for double points and a internet high five,
Oh no!
what was
Oh
the
no!
headline? If you remember?
The headline match.
Yes. I can give you
Oh,
2 out of the 4 females involved if you would like.
okay. Go ahead because I'm not going to get it.
Ronda
I'm probably not going to
Rousey
get it either way.
and Charlotte Flair.
Oh,
Does it
oh, I was really outside of this.
bring any bells?
Um, on to Charlotte. No,
Rousey versus
it doesn't.
Bella. Or sorry,
First ever?
Rousey versus Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair in a last woman standing bout.
I do not remember that at
I don't either.
all.
But that's why I asked you the trivia question, and I didn't have to. Oh, I kind of do remember this because this happened before the Saudi Arabia. Because at that point, for Crown Jewel, women were not allowed on those shows at that point. So that's why I kind of felt like this is here we screwed up paying them all this cash. Have fun type thing. Um, but that's crazy. A Saturday Sunday show in Atlanta, right? They're both gonna be there. Or am I wrong? Mm-mm-mm. No, they're both going to be there, right, Dan? Or did I say that wrong?
No, I think they're both
Yep.
going to be there.
Sorry. Yep. And they're selling 2-day combo ticket package, Dan. They love a good combo ticket, man. They love a good combo ticket. Oh, and of course
Yes, they do.
there's priority passes, Dan. So my birthday's not too far after that. Maybe I can talk the wife into buying me a plane ticket.
You know, it's funny. I'm looking up this Evolution show. The dark match or pre-show match was Rhea Ripley versus Dakota Kai.
Yeah, because that was when
That was
Rhea
their,
was
and it was for an NXT UK Women's Championship.
right because that's where they found
and that
her.
was
Yep.
that was the dark match. Oh, that's funny.
Let me see.
These matches are funny to look at.
That was when she had the blonde hair.
Yeah, the guesses I would have made, like I wouldn't have been right about the main event part, but I would have been right about the people because in my head, I started to look this up specifically because in my head I thought, oh, Trish and Lita were a part of this, but what I didn't realize is that they were like the first match on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was making me think it happened longer ago than it did, but
yeah. Crazy, huh?
I really don't remember Rousey and Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
Becky and Charlotte, I remember now that like you said it in the Last Woman Standing, but Rousey and Nikki Bella, I don't remember at all, and it makes me think like I don't even remember them crossing paths.
I kind of remember them crossing paths,
like,
but
kind of screwed up on my timeline with the Bellas, I guess.
But if I'm gonna write an article, I guarantee it's not about Rousey versus one of the Bella twins. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, definitely not.
Anyways, back to Saturday night main event. Not to get us too far off track. Already 10 minutes into this, 15 minutes into this, like I normally do. What are your thoughts? Let's start there. What were your thoughts of Saturday night main event? The good, the bad. What did you think?
I mean, generally speaking, I thought it was good. For me, my favorite match was the cage match, as far as like just like the match itself. The other matches I thought were fine, but you know, maybe a little predictable, to a degree. The Cena R-Truth match, it was fine, but I'm just like left a little confused about. I mean, I know why they did it, and I get all that, but like, I don't know. Maybe I just expected more out of what they were doing there, to be honest. But I get it. It's kind of a gap filler
Yeah,
for the next big thing. So it played its role and its purpose there for sure.
yeah,
Just to get them to the next thing. Um,
yeah. Which is
so yeah,
the
no, I mean overall, I thought it was good for sure. Like the show itself. It's
um.
just for me. I thought the cage match was for me the best match of the night.
I prefer the grittiness that we've been getting with Saturday Night main event that we haven't been getting with Raw.
Yeah,
Right. Because it seems
of
like
the matches.
the last couple of weeks the promos on Raw like have been fine, but they've I don't know they've felt like almost too corporate, if that makes sense. Right.
Right,
And Bubba Ray
right.
kind of brought that up again. He brought it up like last month on Busted Open, which we both subscribe to. And he brought it up again because they were both because Dave and Bubba were both talking about how much they love Saturday Night main event, and they basically said because we got that gritty feel that WWE used to have. And without naming names, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that gritty feel was that tag match that started the show and Priest and Drew going at it again, right?
Yeah,
Because you
yeah, I
know
think so. I
what you're
mean,
going to get from those six guys, and they delivered time and time again.
right. And then at the end of the day, the Cena match was 4.5 minutes,
Right,
which is like nothing.
right,
And Uso and Logan Paul was fine, but it
right.
was less than 10 minutes. And really, the whole point of it was just for the Cody return. So,
And we finally saw Cena act like a heel.
yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's matches on this card that were just there to further a story rather than to actually show a performance. And I feel like everything else besides those three matches on the card, did a good job of showing the performance. Um, I mean, with the cage match, now this seems to be an ongoing issue that Jesse Ventura was talking about, and everybody on the internet that I've seen on Blue Sky and X that I've saw. Did you have an issue with Damian Priest walking out of the cage?
Um, no.
This this seems to be something that's stuck in everybody's paw lately. They had an issue with him just. I think Jesse
Getting
even
up and
made the comment of, why doesn't he just have the limo back up right to the door for him? And if I remember correctly, he ended that match with a chair shot to Drew, right? Like that's how it
yeah,
ended. So it's like he
yeah,
did his part. He went to where he needed to go to end this cage match, and he conducted it. And then he's done, right? Like he went to that point of aggression. So what are like?
yeah.
So now we just want to see grown men climb a fence. Like, is that what we're doing now? Like, I'm confused. Like, where just this is just an issue, because I'm sure we've seen it before, right?
The rules of the cage match.
Right. If the door's open, walk out. Why climb it?
Well, they get to ask for the door to be
Right.
opened. It's the whole thing. It's part of the story. And then the ref has to open it, and then you got to get out. You still got to touch the ground. Like, who cares?
I mean,
Yeah, I don't
everybody.
have a problem at all. Plus, uh, if nothing else, too, it's a little bit different than normal, right? Like, what are the ways we've seen cage matches win? Obviously, climbing over the top, obviously going out the door, although you don't see it that often. You see a lot of teases of it, and then usually the door gets slammed back on them. The other ways have been when like somebody's been like basically speared through the side of it and the cage is broken apart. and they've touched the ground that way. So, but you don't see people win by getting out of the cage that often. So, um, I don't have a problem with it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand.
Jesse is still like a little out of touch with
Yeah,
like that role he's in. Like if you notice too, this is just something very small that I noticed when watching, which because I watched it today. Um, he was talking during the announcements
mm-hmm,
for the championship, and
mm-hmm.
and in my head I'm thinking like, well, first of all, if Vince was there, he'd be freaking out. But if you like, Triple H is probably like, shut up, she's announcing the champion and the challenger.
He did
And
that
like he's
during.
just going and going and going and going and going. Like, dude, shut up.
He did that during the first time he showed up for the final match as well. He just. It just seems like he doesn't have an off button anymore. Like he just goes.
Yeah, he forgot a little bit about this. I think the the production part of it maybe, and yeah, so he made the comment. I didn't catch it in the moment, but I'll have to go back because I do want to hear it. But like making the comment about him using the door, like it's just like a weird like probably old school thinking, right? Like that's not how you really win a cage match. You have to go over the top. Like yeah, Jesse, maybe 30 years ago when you were actually no, he wasn't even wrestling 30 years ago. It's longer than that, I think.
Yeah,
So,
I just took it as that whole well, like when we were coming up in the business, we would go to any city in Brussels for a handshake and a hot dog. Like that's what we do. Day in and day out, we were traveling. 360 days a year, we were on the road, right? That type of thing. That's kind of what I took it as. Like that type of. Like, I mean, he hit him with a chair shot in the throat, right? And then he was kind of
yeah.
out. I'm sure, realistically, I'm sure if anybody gets hit in a chair or in the throat with a chair, somebody's going to have time to walk away from you in any fashion that they want. Right? That's not when you're bouncing up
Right.
for. So, like, I don't understand um, where the gripe is from that. I don't think I ever will. That's just the IWC. Um, Follow up to that. Let's go back to the beginning of the card because we kind of were guesstimating at what we thought the next person would be for Seth Rollins. Did we bring up Bronson
Yeah.
Reed? Okay, we did.
I don't know. No, I don't think we did.
I think you
Maybe
did.
you
I
did.
did it.
I didn't.
Okay, well then
Then I don't
we'll
think either
both
of us
screw.
did because
Yeah,
I mean maybe I just said because I was thinking of guys that
yeah, could pop
I
back
might
in.
have just said them in passing.
Yeah.
Right, because I think what I said was they need the giant bruiser guy.
Yeah.
Which ends up being Bronson Reed. But it wasn't the only one I think I was thinking of because kinda like Breaker can play that role too, but I think they want to put Breaker into a different role now.
I think he's
Right?
gonna be
Like
the
I saw
second coming. Like he's gonna be the
right.
guy after Seth.
And right, so he can't just be the guy that flattens everyone.
Right. They need
Right?
security.
Like I think I saw it like I saw it on Facebook or whatever, but it was a good like in a way I thought it made sense, right? Like if you're comparing them to Evolution, if you're trying to make that evolution, then right, you have Heyman as Flair, Seth as
I
Triple H.
guess.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, and then Breaker as Randy, and then now Reed as Batista, and I can make that leap in my mind of like, okay, you've got your counsel, who's not a wrestler, so that's the difference, but the the experienced guy, right, the wise man, for sure. You've got your leader, who's also top of the company, and that's Seth. You've got your young up and comer who can be dangerous in Randy. And then now you have your animal and you have your Batista in a way. It's not exactly a 1-to-1 comparison,
No,
but
I get it. I don't know. Yeah,
it can make sense to me.
we brought this up before, and I wasn't really too sold on it when we talked about. Like, I get it from the business standpoint, right? Like, they have the elder that can take everybody's plan one step further because
Right.
the elder person have seen everything throughout the business and how to get the title and how to get where you want and who you need to bribe and who you need to backstab. And then you still got the guy that was on top at the time, which would be, like you said, the Triple H, right? And then the Batista and Orton would be Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I honestly just did not think Bronson Reed was going to heal that quickly. Did you?
No.
Right.
No.
So, like, um, yeah, I mean, during that time, right? So Flair was on. Side note: Flair was part of Evolution 2003 to 2005. He was in the tag match at Team Bischoff versus Team Austin. He helped Triple H retain the World Heavyweight Championship. He had tag. He won the titles from the Dudley Boys at Armageddon 2003. Held them into 2004. He wrestled on Raw against the Dudleys and RVD and Booker T. Such a weird tag team. Um, and he was at WrestleMania in 2004 against RVD and Booker T. I can't believe that's a tag team. It's so weird to me. Um, and then also, this gets brought up. He had a Taboo Tuesday 2005 match. Ric Flair versus Triple H Steel Cage match. Do you remember that? Flair retained the IC title?
I don't. Taboo Tuesday. I remember
2005.
I
And then
remember the show. Was that the one where like the fans picked it?
I think so. Like the fan voting?
Oh yeah, because the first one was Cyber Sunday, and then they
Yeah.
moved it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then they had the street fight of Jonathan Coachman with Goldust and Vader versus Batista.
Right.
what what crazy times we were living in back then with Joey Styles as commentary. Oh, and here you go, Dan. The theme song for that night. Are you prepared for this, Dan?
I am.
Twisted Transistor, Corn. They love a good dirt rock song. They love a good dirt
They
rock
do.
song.
They've always loved a good
Yeah,
dirt rock song.
they love it.
They've always loved it.
Hunter probably got such a chub when he heard that Corn song was going to be used. But that's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, I mean, so I guess that match was basically to get us to Bronson Reed appearing, right? And for anyone that didn't catch it, Punk and Sami Zayn both had on Palestine colors, which during Vince's time, I guarantee you probably wouldn't seen that. But to be honest, Vince probably doesn't know where Palestine is. So, that was kind of crazy to see them both come out with that gear because I'm like, backstage can't be too happy about this. But they did it.
I think yeah, I don't know if they're happy or not happy about it. I mean, it's a tough one, when you've got a guy who's from that area to
Oh,
tell
for
him he
sure.
can't
For sure.
make a statement. And then obviously, like, it's going to be tough to tell Punk he can't make a show of support for a guy or people or whatever. I mean, now, having said that, I don't expect them to allow Punk to walk out with the trans rights or human rights t-shirt either, though,
Correct.
because
I don't see that
that
happening.
one's maybe a little too far in your face.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because at
this
least
was obviously more subtle.
yes,
Like
agreed.
obviously people figured it out and then it ran across social media, and that's fine because it there's a difference between showing like that kind of support for something, a cause or an issue, especially when it's very hotly politically divided, and writing a direct thing, whether it be like if his shirt said "Free Palestine," like I don't know that they allow that, but yeah, you want to put Palestine flag colors and a certain like arrangement of how they are in your tights. Yeah, we don't care. You know, like that's
Yeah.
fine. People will figure it out, but that's the whole point.
Did you think that got cleared first? I was
Um,
wondering that.
I don't know because that's a tough one because like if you're the wrestler, it might be a not that he should have to do it this way, but it might be a ask for forgiveness, not permission type thing. But also like maybe they just have some general rules that haven't been leaked yet. Um, you know, um, I don't know. Like I just think that maybe there's some unwritten rules and guidelines that they've been given of like, look, this is how you can express how you feel, right? Like no direct, no direct like whatever symbolism, but yeah, something a little more subdued, we have no problem with, right? Like you want to throw a rainbow somewhere on your tights to support a pride movement, go for it. You want to throw Palestinian colors in your tights, go for it. But the rest of it just has to be muted, I guess. Like it can be out there, but muted maybe. So
Right. Agreed.
I don't know. I mean it's a tough position to be in if you're the company
Yes.
because you don't want to get stuck. You obviously don't want to get like um
Because it's very easy for the company to get called out on behalf of this.
well, and you don't want to drag the company into a political debate, right? Necessarily,
Right, because that's not why
and
you're
you want to
putting on
be
these
able, you
shows.
want people to feel like they can express certain things and stuff, and also not for nothing, but like people aren't dumb. They know his mother-in-law is in the administration. They know he was sitting right behind her during one of her confirmation hearings, right? Like he was visible the whole time. Like he's, you know, UFC, he's connected with UFC, he goes to UFC events, he shakes the president's hand, he's got wrestlers who support the president. So like,
Oh,
and they
and the
haven't
owner of
subdued that.
right, and the owner of Endeavor is Jewish, so
Right. So they have all that. And so you can't ignore that. And then also sit here and say to that guy, no, you can't wear Palestinian colors.
right, and
Right. Like, because
yeah,
now you look like not only not only are you trying to silence and it in theory might be considered an opposing voice to your own, which it may or may not be. Um, you're making it look like you're basically discriminating. Like it's just a tough place to be. Like politics obviously is just such a bad place in our country in general, and businesses wading in and out of it is very tough.
yes,
I
because
mean, we see what happens for businesses that are making certain decisions and what's happening to them or what retaliation might be coming or what boycotts are happening or whatever, or like maybe even some positive things depending on what they're doing. It's a very because you're never going to please everyone,
well, and it could
like
go haywire. Look at what it did to Tesla. So that's the last
right,
thing the WWE would want with all of these big shows that they have coming. With them going head to head with AEW in July, they wouldn't want fans to be like, screw this, we're not showing up. Because that's just a blunder, right? But it's tough because you have two of your top guys, and your two of your top guys come out and say we're doing this. It's kind of it's rough, man. I just found that interesting because I thought back that like what whenever I see stuff like this, I immediately think Vince would never go for this. But to get back to the card, side note, Trick Williams just came out to show off the TNA title. Santana comes out and confronts him.
Yeah.
So there you go. Um, so that'll be interesting. I'm all for that. I would definitely pay to see that. But yeah, I mean, so this was basically just to say, hey, Bronson Reed's back and we're stronger than ever right now, right? And you get in our way, there's going to be consequences to pay, right? And Seth is qualified for the Money in the Bank, so he's all good to go.
Yeah. That's going to be that. I mean, maybe we'll talk about that in a few minutes, maybe, of what we know so far. That Money in the Bank, the men's ladder match, is going to be phenomenal, I think, or at least it's shaping up to be phenomenal.
Right.
Like right off the bat. I mean, Penta is in it too, right? Like
Yep.
the fact that Penta's in it is where I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what WWE lets Penta do in a ladder match. You know, with 5 other guys, right?
Right.
Like
It could
not
get
a
crazy.
one-on-one ladder match, right? Like
Yeah.
it's 6 in the Money in the Bank, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna
Question
be
for you.
wild.
We also had Selena Vega defeat Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green broke her nose. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
For the John Cena R-Truth match, you think that was better as like a backstage like segment? Like R-Truth gets beat up backstage and he can't compete tonight, and they like have to pull it from the crowd rather than just having 4 minutes and 35 seconds of a match? Or do you think like actually
Um,
having Cena come out for a match is a thing because it's the farewell tour?
I think it had to be a match for sure. Um, I think it had to be a match. I think it should have been a little longer. I think it was just a tad short. Um, so, but I think no, it needed to be I think it needed to be a match. I mean, they wanted. I just thought they could have played up a little bit more on the whole like R-Truth being like John Cena, Ron Cena or whatever he had on his shirt. Um, I don't know. I don't know.
I just, to me, like, I get it because he's on the farewell tour. I just don't see any difference between that being a backstage statement or a backstage segment or a match. It kind of felt one and the same. Santino Marella is showing up on the big screen, Dan. Uh, Getting good. The commissioner's getting involved. Uh, and it looks like next week he will defend the TNA title against Mike Santana. So there it is. Got the first defense. Gonna be good. We already talked about Priest and McIntyre. Paul and Uso. Cena came out, right? Tried to screw over Uso. Didn't work. Cody comes out. Hits the crossroads. Didn't look like Cena took that too great. He kind of just, instead of like popping up like some guys do, he kind
Yeah,
of, it,
I noticed that too. It
it
was just
didn't look,
awkward.
yeah, it didn't look smooth, right? He just kind of
He
like
didn't.
flailed over, and then
He
that was
didn't.
it.
Yeah, he didn't like land flush. Like he landed like on his knees or something. I don't know. It was definitely a little weird looking, but whatever.
Yeah, that happens. It's John Cena. What do we do? But overall, what would you grade this card? I mean, every match on this card furthered a story point besides the Lena Vega and Chelsea Green one, right? Like,
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10 for me. You know.
um, yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, I would probably say out of 10. I think the Vega and Chelsea Green stuff was decent. Green got her nose broken, so now it's all over her Twitter that the blood coming down her nose. So she loves that. Um, do you think at some point we're gonna see Chelsea Green step away? She talked about this before. Like if she dropped the title, like I know she had a post where she said farewell for now to the title, but she talked about this before. Like I think she said if like due to her like oh no that wasn't Naomi, but she said she would eventually need a break because of how like she's been going nonstop since she got back. What 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
So it's like I wonder if this broken nose is the thing that gives her a break, or do they have her come out and still talk trash? It'll be hysterical if she comes out and still talks trash with that broken nose. Um,
She might.
because then she still has that tag team in front of her, right? Because she still got her two security guards. So, interesting stuff. All of it furthered storylines. That's what we expected. Uh, let me see here real quick. Yeah. So on to Raw right now. Like I've already said, Rollins qualified, right? Um, but then we had a little bit of an issue that he sent the security guards after Punk when Punk's music hit. Punk came out, caught him, and they have it on their WWE Twitter as WWE Raw got punked, and they spelled it like the TV show. Um, so that's awesome. What did you think about
Yeah.
the match? Or sorry, what did you think about Raw in general that night? It seemed to be a pretty big, you know, um, pretty busy match. We had the qualifying match for Penta, Gable, and Dragon Lee. We had a Liv Morgan return. We had Rusev and Akiri Tozawa. We had the World Tag Team Championships for the men's. We had a Gunther and Jay coming face to face, and we had a Kerry Zane and a Liv Morgan match. What's your thoughts? Seemed pretty busy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a busy show.
Right?
Um, it was busy. It was good though. It
Decent
went
show.
quick.
Yeah, yeah. It has.
Yeah, it went quick again. It just moved quick, and there's a lot going on, but it was good. I
Yeah,
thought it was good.
we technically had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second one 5. So 5 matches. 5 matches, 3 segments, I guess. Yeah, roughly, I think. Um, yeah. Overall, I thought it was a B plus show. It was cool. Real quick, Titus O'Neil showing in the crowd, huh? Because he
Yeah.
has a new show coming to Peacock in July, I believe they said. Um, we got a Vikingo showing, right? Uh,
Yep. Yeah, we got a Vikinga showing. We got a
Waka Flocka
I
showing.
didn't see this. Yeah. I didn't see this until right before we started the show tonight, but with our Vikingo sighting, we also got a spoiler.
Oh, I was just about to bring
Did
that
you?
up after this.
You
Yep.
were? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, you think Cody Rhodes got the idea to start a podcast from us, and why am I right when I say that?
Sure, we'll go with that.
All right, appreciate it. And Cody and Brandy has a brand new. Well, Cody has a podcast. Guess who's his special guest? Season premiere Wednesday.
His very first guest is none other than the Brandy Rhodes.
That should be his only guest.
I think he's going to do guests. I mean, this is obviously the new direction they're going. You've
Dan,
got
do you
Stephanie,
need
you've
any
got
other
him.
guests besides Brandy?
Do I personally?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm certainly glad she's first, but there's
Yes
some
or no,
others I
Dan?
could think of.
Yes or no? Save that
There's,
court
yeah,
stuff for
no,
the
yes,
9 to 5.
I could, I could definitely use other guests eventually. Sure.
Well, I'm sold. That's all I'm saying. I'm sold.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's crazy, right? Because has Endeavor brought out the entertainment part of the WWE? Like, is it now like that they were like, yeah, you were doing sports entertainment, but let's show you how to do the entertainment part, right? Because Stephanie has shows, which I think only further help WWE and Endeavor. That Stephanie's branching out, which is also going to branch out the WWE name. They got the LFG shows that are out there. Now they got like this
They're
podcast
gonna
going
have
on there.
the booking show.
The booking show that starts in the summer, right? June or July.
Yeah.
Or no,
And the
I
other,
forget when that starts. Yeah.
I think it's in the summer, and then
And then they
they've
got
got
all
the
the
other.
celebrities, which you always see celebrities at a UFC event.
Yeah, we've got that other podcast too with what's his face, right? Uh, um, oh, why can't I think of his name? It's like, isn't it like Raw Recap Podcast or
Oh,
something?
with Sam Roberts. Yeah. So they're stealing Sam.
Roberts, yes, thank you.
Yeah. So they're stealing Sam from Sirius. And then before every um big card, like they have at least 2 hours of the McAfee show, right? So like
Yeah.
they're really pushing this entertainment factor, are they not? Like it's crazy.
Oh yeah, they are.
It is crazy. But yeah, let's talk about that. Let me get that up. I just said that. Well, let's talk about that, Dan. Um, that's the WWE Worlds Collide, right? Spoils an upcoming event, which I think is either
I think
later
is
at the end of this
purposeful.
week. I think just so they can say they're not partnering with him.
Yeah, just to give him another shot on the way out the door
I think so
because
too.
he's getting canned.
I think so too. And I love Petty, so I enjoyed this because that was my first
They're
thought.
petty.
I know I am, but I love this.
No, they are.
Oh,
They
sorry.
are. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well.
you are
Yeah.
too, but
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah. So it's basically they spoiled the upcoming results of the AAA Mega Championship match between Vikingo and Alberto El Patron, formerly Alberto Del Rio in the WWE, until he felt it was appropriate in backstage and catering to smack an employee that was cleaning up his own mess. Um, and also, Paige left him out of her book.
No, are we surprised?
No, but just like I guess, do we count the over under to when he's wrestling at a high school by us? Because I think that's the only thing that's left. Or if he's friends with Tony Khan.
I don't even know if Tony's going to go there. I mean, he might, but I'm not even sure that he'll do that.
Right? But yeah, so obviously they had Kingo in the first row when Chad Gable was um, wrestling this past Raw, and they basically came face to face, right? And then there was some physicality, but during a advertisement, the WWE AAA Worlds Collide event in June, the company ran a graphic promoting the match, and the graphic specifically said the match would be for the AAA Mega Championship, um, which right here on Sports Illustrated. It's up there. So that kind of gives away the fact that Del Rio is dropping the title.
Yeah, because he's got a match with him this weekend, right?
Yeah, at the end of this, sorry, at the end of this month they are. Yeah, so and the World Events Collides event will air on YouTube on the afternoon of the WWE Money in the Bank event on June 7th. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
Another
crazy, man.
another busy weekend of wrestling.
Yeah, man. Thank God I got all this time off. I could catch up. Um, yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. I don't know. I mean, what do you? So, not, knock on wood or fake thing that feels like wood. Um, Vikingo gets injured. What do you do? Do you throw Del Rio in there versus Chad Gable?
Um, no, they probably cancel the match,
You think
or they have
they
Gable
hate
go
him
against
that
somebody else.
much that they just cancel
Yeah,
it?
they're they're not they're not featuring him on their show. There's no way.
I agree.
There's no way.
I saw some
I think
people.
his contract's up ahead of that anyway, so it'll just be somebody else. I think if Vikingo can't go to win that title or wins it and then gets injured, they just put somebody else in. There's no way that Del Rio doesn't drop that belt in his next match. So whether it's Vikingo or somebody else because Vikingo's hurt, there's no way Del Rio keeps it.
Well, here's his history. He was first released in August of 2014 for unprofessional conduct following an altercation with a backstage employee. I read on this event, it involved somebody that worked in catering. He left his plate in catering for the employee to clean up. I think the employee said something, and he pushed the guy against the wall and smacked him or something. He was later re-signed in 2015, but was released in September of 16 after a suspension violating the WWE's talent wellness policy. So Rio was suspended for 30 days for violating the policy. He then opted out of his contract in September 2016, marking the end of his second stint with WWE. He was Alberto El Patron was fired from Impact Wrestling in April of 2018 following a no-show last following a no-show at the Impact versus Lucha Underground event. That's wild. That is wild, man. Like, and he's good, right? Like, you would say he's good in the ring.
Yeah,
He's just an asshole.
yeah, yep. I think both statements are very true.
Like, it's
Well, he's just an asshole, but an asshole that hasn't learned how to
yeah, just can't get out of his
not
way.
be an asshole.
Right.
Right, not be an asshole in certain times so that you keep your job. Because
Well,
I'm sure there are plenty of wrestlers that were assholes. You know.
CM Punk. I mean,
Well, yeah, but
no, but you know what I mean.
yeah.
That's the biggest one that everyone talks about. Of he's never going to come back to WWE. Um, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And then he had the alleged domestic abuse towards WWE and AEW star Saraya. Um, oh Jesus, I forgot. Did you remember that there was kidnapping charges?
Uh,
It
no, actually, I didn't.
took a year for them to be dismissed, but there was alleged kidnapping charges.
Wild.
So Wrestling Inc. has WWE is hoping to repair the bridge with the former undisputed World Heavyweight Champion. As sources close to Del Rio have mentioned, the two parties are no longer in contentious relationship, with possible plans to have Del Rio appear for a WWE in the future. I doubt this. This was 3 days ago. This was said.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
I doubt this.
There's no way they accidentally spoiled the outcome of his match,
Well,
right?
and
Like,
just think.
there's no way nobody thought about that to say, well, we can't say it's going to be for the title because that match hasn't happened yet. That's not a mistake they make.
No. No, WWE doesn't make that mistake.
Just not a mistake they
Not
make.
on purpose, right? Or not on accident, right? Like, oh,
Right.
shoot, we screwed up. Our bad. See you later, Del Rio. Right? Like,
Yep.
um, but yeah, anyways, enough talking about this dirtbag. Uh, how do you think Bunny in the Bank shaping up? What is that, 2 weeks away? I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
I
what are
think
we
it's
thinking?
shaping up real good.
Do you think who do you think
I
takes it
think it's going to be real good.
for the guys?
Um,
Here, let me see if I
I
can.
think it's either Seth or Penta.
You think Penta takes it?
Seth or Penta, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking Penta takes it. So as
I just think
of,
he's on such a trajectory.
correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. We have Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins. That's what we have so far.
That's what I have, yep.
So we have two more, right? Do we know who those other two are? I feel like we do, and I just
No, they don't. We don't yet. It's still there's matches to come.
okay.
According to this, the fifth spot will be determined by matches. Fifth and sixth spot determined by, or no, fifth spot will be determined by this week's SmackDown, a match between Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, and Jacob Fatu.
Jacob has to take that,
Which
correct?
I would think so.
And then
And
does it?
then for the women, it's Jade, Naomi, and Nia Jax on SmackDown for another spot. So that's what's been announced. And then there'll be a sixth. There'll be one more week of triple threats, I think.
Because right now we have Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, and Julia. I'm saying
Yeah,
Roxanne Perez
so
wins Bunny in the Bank.
yeah, I would go with that.
Because she's
I
on
think
that
so.
Tiffy timeline. Like they're bringing her up the same way they brought her up. Right? Um, yeah, it's great. So right now, what we have: men's Money in the Bank, women's Money in the Bank, Cena and Paul versus Cody and Jey Uso, and the women's IC match. Right? So four matches so far.
Yep.
How many think
Yep.
you think we end up with?
Probably no more than 5.
Do you think no more because of
I'm
how
not sure
long the
because
ladder
those
matches
ladder
take?
matches will take at least, yeah, I think the ladder matches will be a half hour each. So that's an hour. Well, maybe it'll be 6, 5 or 6. But I mean, I think you've got at least an hour in the ladder matches, maybe a little longer. You've probably got 20, 30 minutes with the tag match. Um, I don't know, Becky and Lyra, probably not that long, maybe 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Um, yeah, I mean, I would say minimum 5, maximum 6, so they can speed through. I don't think they're going to want it to be more than 2 hours and 45 minutes. if they can help it.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I was thinking 6, but I don't know. I feel like 6 takes away from the ladder matches. You know what I mean?
It could.
Like 6, like
Yeah.
feels like you're pushing the boundary of like, is this enough? Um,
Yeah.
Side note: we have Oba Femi confronting Jasper Troy, who is from Team Undertaker, who won the LFG show. That's crazy. Within 2 weeks, the NXT World Heavyweight Champion is confronting you.
Yeah.
Right. They must be very high
Yeah.
on Jasper Troy if that's already happening. But
Yeah.
yeah, uh,
Probably.
um, yeah, it's crazy. What do you think of this Cena and Paul versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso? Do you think we get Travis Scott for this? Because we're not going to get The
No.
Rock. He's supposedly busy for the next year and a half, I read 2 days ago.
I don't think we're getting anyone for it. I think it's just a tag match. It's just to reintroduce Cody. I don't know how it's going to end yet, but um, I think it's just a filler, another filler
Do you
to
think?
continue the story because we already know like we're going to Jay and Gunther
Yeah.
again. We're doing our Jay Gunther rematch, which is fine. And
How do you feel about this tag match? Like, I don't care
I,
for it.
I don't care. I don't necessarily care for it either.
I think it's a waste of
But
Cena's time on this farewell tour. Like, you're telling me you can't run something back with Orton?
yeah, I don't think they want to do that. I think they're trying to maximize as many like people as he can wrestle or wrestle with.
So is this just to
Um,
give a rub to Paul as the bad guy then?
Probably a little bit. Probably a little bit. Um,
Yeah, I don't know if
yeah,
I
I
have
think
any
it's just a
interest in this.
stepping stone.
I don't know if I have
Yeah, I
any
think it's
interest.
just a stepping stone.
To what? What do you think? Obviously, Jay and Gunther, you
Oh,
already
I don't
said.
know to what. Yeah, I don't know to what. I mean, maybe I don't think Travis Scott comes in. Maybe we get some other kind of weird, you know, interruption. Um,
So, hypothetically, just say Cena and Paul beat Rhodes and Jey Uso.
mhm.
What do you do with Cody now that he's back? He continues to
I
hunt down John?
Yeah, I think he's going to be hunting John for a while, like in and out. You know, they'll find little distractions along the way. Um, Maybe Logan and Cody to Logan to be another bump in the road to get back to Cena and whatever else could happen.
Oh.
Um,
I mean, this is
I don't know.
technically Cena killing wrestling, right? Like, if Paul's getting this
Right?
big push from John, this is technically him killing wrestling.
Yeah. So to continue to kill it, you probably win, and then or something happens at the end there, and then you sick Logan on Cody, you know, and you're just running a concurrent storyline with what's going on with Seth and all that. And you've just got
Yeah.
these guys over here doing their thing while you've got Seth doing his thing with Punk and whoever else, and likely Roman again at some point mixed into that.
So, how do you feel
Um,
about Seth wanting the Money in the Bank to go after Jay's title? Why not John's title? As
well,
as we know right now, because Paul talked about, because Paul Heyman has spoken directly to Jay about Seth getting that title.
yeah, I mean, it's probably, I mean, the real answer is probably just because
Yeah,
they're they're keeping John on a
yeah,
separate
for
path.
sure.
But I mean, I guess storyline wise, you could just put because wasn't Seth the inaugural champion for that title belt? He was the first one for that particular belt, wasn't he?
Right, but if so, correct me if I'm
So
wrong,
he
but
wants to go. He wants to go back to being get the belt back that he was the first to ever hold.
Yeah, but correctly to
Because
me,
remember, that belt doesn't have lineage.
right? Well, that's what did he call it though? Workhorse belt. That's what he called himself. Um,
Yeah.
no, maybe this is my ADHD kicking in. But do you think this creates a blemish? Because like, why are we not getting Seth and John then? If Seth is supposed to be in charge of the faction that's greater than all factions that have ever existed, why is he not going after the guy that has the record on the amount of titles he's won? Why is he not chasing down the supposed GOAT rather than just settling? Let's be honest, we believe he can beat Jay by himself, correct?
Yeah, he should be able to, but then again, I don't know.
No, but I'm just saying, like, don't you feel this
He racks
creates?
up a lot of L's.
Yeah, he does. But don't you feel this creates like at least the tiniest of blemishes to this being seen as farewell tour? Because it's like, don't you think we
No,
should get John and Seth at least once on this tour? We got John and our
I
truth.
mean, you still got 7 months, so I think you might, but no, it doesn't create a blemish for me because they're trying to treat both belts as just as important. So,
Right.
you know, um, and who's to say he doesn't go and conquer that belt from Jay and then go after Cena and try to do unification?
And then does that leave Cody out in the cold if Seth does that? Or do you think they get Cody involved in a 3-way or a 4-way somehow?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Cody.
You know what I
I
mean?
really
That's
don't.
I think
Yeah.
if I go
No,
down that
I don't
road,
know what they're
like
doing there.
I have more of a concern of what that does for Cody. Because do you think when John's done, that belt goes back to Cody, or do you think somebody else takes it?
I I didn't think that originally, so I don't know if that's what they do. That seems a lot of people seem to think that they're doing that, but I don't know that I think they're doing that.
I don't think Cody gets the
Um,
belt back. I don't.
I mean, if Seth wins the other belt, Cody could flip to chasing Seth too. Like, there could be a lot going on there.
What if this ends, since the final show's in Boston, what if this ends as Roman and Cena for the title? How do you
I
feel
was
about that
thinking,
then?
I was thinking Punk. I was thinking Punk and Cena at the end.
I think we're going to get Punk and Cena sooner than we think.
I'm sure we're gonna get it at some point. Um, but they've still got Punk lumped in with Seth. So,
Right. He's
um,
he's
and what's going
basically
on
doing
there?
his version of fighting the bloodline like Cody had to do.
Right. So, I think, yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought we would get. I putting my money on Punk takes the belt from Cena at some point.
Because there's a
I think
lot of
that's more
people.
poetic.
There's a lot of people online saying Cody takes the belt from Cena again.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that I can't see that, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's more poetic if Punk does it.
Yeah, I think so too. So
And I mean, Punk has always like him and Cena like have a bond there. Wouldn't shock me if Cena wants Punk to be the one to retire him and lose it on the way out to him and have him be the one who sends him packing. That wouldn't shock me at all. I don't. I could be wrong, but I don't think Cena wants to go out on a win.
no,
I
I don't
think he
think.
wants to go out on a loss,
With how much he
and I don't
loves
think
this business, I don't see him going out on a win. No.
so. And why not have it be a guy like Punk who, through all of the bullshit and trouble, has always talked about John in a positive light as far as their relationship and the work they did together and how he feels about him and did tributes to him all the time, right? Like, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be that way, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying, from what I've been reading, because I go Squared Circle, and then there's a few other sites I check. There's a good population saying that Cena takes the belt away. That gives them an easy way
Yeah,
to transition to and do belt.
yeah, I don't buy that. I mean, anything's possible with the way they do things, but I don't buy that as being what
I don't.
happens.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
really don't.
With with him, I don't know. Like, you think
I
pro
don't really
wrestling?
think. I mean, I don't know. Transferring to a new belt, like if they want to change the belt, they'll just change the belt. That's
Yeah,
what they
they've done
do,
that before. Yeah,
right? Like
they're
they don't need
notorious for
somebody
that.
to
Right,
take it away
right.
to
They're
introduce a new belt design.
right.
Like they're not going to get rid of the WWE championship. Like they're not going to just say, "Oh, well, John took it away, so we no longer have a WWE championship. We have a world heavyweight champion and we have a heavyweight champion." Like they're never going to do that. Like I think they're going to, if they want to change the belt, they'll just change it when John loses it. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. Seems weird. Like I that does just doesn't click for me because if they want to get rid of a belt, they just unify them and then get rid of a belt, just like they did with the Universal Championship. It took forever for them to officially do it, but that's what they did. They unified the belts, and just one day, a couple of months ago, they just erased it as being a belt, basically.
yeah, yeah.
So that's fine. That's what you do. But they don't want to get rid of a belt.
No, I don't
Or
think
they
so.
don't want to get rid of that belt. Like they're not going to get rid of. I mean, that belt is the belt, right? It is the WWE Championship. So that one is the one that dates all the way back to the beginning. There's no way they're getting rid of that belt, and they'll just change the design on a whim,
Yeah,
which is fine because I don't really like the way that belt looks anyway.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I've been trying to play this out in my head, and I don't know where they do. Like, I don't know what goes on with Cody, because I feel like Cody drops to the middle of the card if he's not in one of these storylines. Right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't know what's going on there either. It's hard to know what they're thinking and what they might do.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, so that's been the highlights of the WWE over the past week and a half. Crazy week, going right up to Money in the Bank June 7th. Gonna be a great show. Um, did you catch any of the AEW their
I
pay
did
per view?
not. I did not. I saw like some clips here and there, and then I saw Hangman crying after in the post conference or post show conference press conference, and but no, I did not catch anything specific on it or any
Yeah,
full matches.
I saw clips of him getting the win over Osprey. Would you say that's huge for that company? Like, for Hangman to get a win over Osprey? Because I feel like Osprey's been the golden boy. Him or Kenny.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's that anything crazy.
Yeah. I can't wait till these pay per views end up on HBO, so I can like actually just sit down and watch them. Because I'm probably not gonna pay for it because it's still full price. I know there's the
Right.
one streaming service that gives you like 10% off or whatever, but I'm probably like I want to catch up on AEW, so like I do watch on Wednesdays when I can, or I go back the next day as I have it recorded by Hulu and I watch it. But um, like, is there anything besides the Swerve stuff? Because I feel like we're both big fans of Swerve. Is there anything pulling you back to AEW, or do you just
For
casually
me,
scroll through
for
it
me, not
and just catch
currently.
it? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Not currently. I wish they were doing something different with MJF. I try to check in on that because that's where I
yeah,
feel like I could get easily pulled in, but um, it doesn't happen.
yeah. Um, do you think MJF regrets it?
No, I don't.
Just because of what
Um,
he's probably being paid?
no, I generally, well, not only that, but I generally don't feel that any of them. I mean, I'm sure there are some guys that might regret signing contracts there, but there's guys that regret contracts in WWE all
Yep,
the time too, right? Like
agreed.
that
Yep.
just happens. So you're never getting away from that. But having said that, I I think there are certain guys that just love what AEW gives them, whether it be a little bit more freedom, whether it be a little less like structure as far as like creativity and storylines and scripting. Obviously, money, I'm sure, plays a big part of it. And he probably could have gotten good money at WWE too, but probably not as good as he's getting right now from Tony. Um, so, no, generally, I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't get the sense that he necessarily regrets anything. Um, you know, he probably, I mean, I don't know because, well, one day I'd love to know how real his like holdout was, you know?
Yeah, agreed.
Because that would help me answer this question too. Because if that was real to any degree, like even a little bit real, he'd just do it again.
Yep.
If he was super unhappy, you know. So
Yeah, no, you don't gotta tell me. I 100% agree. I hope we get him on an aerial podcast one day. And like he could just go and say everything like Punk did.
yeah,
Because I think for him not being used, would you have him on every card?
yeah,
I would too.
pretty much, pretty
I would, yeah.
much, and I would have him doing different shit than joining the Hurt Syndicate.
Well, I would just have him show up, like, even if he didn't have a match on a card, I would have him show up on commentary just talking shit about whoever and just let him go,
Yeah,
right? Because then that just furthers
yeah,
the line about anybody you can put him in the ring with down the road, right? Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. What This just hurt syndicate stuff. Just doesn't make sense to me. But I'm not Tony, so I mean, maybe he sees something that we don't. Like that's all. I don't know. It's tough to believe that as well. Like it's just.
yeah. It's tough either way.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But it's been a crazy week and a half in wrestling, like we said. So, I was thinking for the next episode, Dan, which would put us right before the pay per view. I think, correct? Yes, I believe it would. Let me check my calendar. Yeah, it would put us on the third. Do you want to do some trivia on the third?
Let's do trivia on the third for sure.
Just because
I should I should
the
probably study.
we would probably know all 6 of the participants in each of the Money in the Bank matches by then, correct? Or do you think they'll go to that Friday before?
Um, when is the date of that show?
The 7th, I believe.
Yeah, I think we're getting the last ones next week then.
On the 6th?
Yeah, because
or do you think
they're
they'll
only.
do it on the 2nd?
Oh no, probably the second. I assume. Yeah, because we're getting the 5th entrance on Friday. I bet you we get the 6th ones on Raw. Yeah. Yep. Probably on the 2nd then.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, so we can talk about that as well. But yeah. So, did you have anything else tonight, Daniel, that you wanted to plug or talk about for WWE wise that I may have missed? I think that's pretty much all I had highlight wise. There's just so much to track over like a week and a half. So,
Yes, there was.
um,
Very much so.
oh yeah, real quick. Uh, any curiosity if Mariah May signs to WWE?
Um,
I mean, I don't think it really does anything.
not any extra
No,
curiosity, no.
no. And also, if you get a chance, read Bleacher Report. They have an article, or they have part of an article that talks about the downfall of the Death Riders. Very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's it's the article that they have for WWE and AEW's biggest storylines to track this summer in and outside the ring. And they got a good passage about the downfall of the Death Riders. They're basically calling them one dimensional, and they use nonsensical John Moxley jargon and matches marred by interference is one of the key points made. I mean, they're not wrong, right? Like I think if John's gonna be the guy of your company, he needs a dedicated storyline. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Like he's one
Yep.
guy that survives on a storyline, right? So it'll be interesting. But I've been following this for a while, so I'll check back in on that as well. But yeah, so until then, if you don't have anything, Dan, I think we're good until the 3rd. Do a little pre Bunny in the Bank, who we think's gonna win, what's going on,
Yeah.
and then throw in some trivia, and then get ready for the pay-per-view, my friend. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. Well, until then, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram. Look for us at Botch Wrestling Podcast. Until then, have a good night, folks, and we'll be back on the 3rd. Adios.
Adios. Get wild.